This episode is sponsored by Bria Institute, where innovation, practice, and purpose come together to inspire leaders to transform organizations, co-creating an impact economy. For more information, visit bria.institute. Should we postpone our vacations? How we can take advantage of our free time as employees or those that are self-employed in time of the pandemic? Today, my guest is Rebecca Zucker, an executive coach, and we will discuss her article in the Harvard Business Review entitled Thinking of Skipping Vacations? Done. As I mentioned in the intro, today my guest is Rebecca Zucker, who is right now in San Francisco. Rebecca, how are you? And thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Rebecca, I always ask to my guests about their professional background. Would you mind sharing with my audience what is your professional background and what do you do exactly?
Sure. I'm an executive coach and I'm one of the founding partners of a firm called Next Step Partners. We're a leadership development firm and we work primarily with senior executives and leaders, helping them to be better leaders and ultimately trying to make work better, which is one of our core values. To make work better.
A great value, by the way. Rebecca, the reason that we are having this conversation today is because you wrote an interesting article for the Harvard Business Review. And to me, honestly, was a kind of surprise because you talk about vacations in COVID times, in the pandemic times. The title is Thinking of Skipping Vacations? Don't. My question is, what inspired you to write this article?
That's a great question. It was actually in thinking about my own vacation. My husband and I were originally planning before the pandemic to go to the south of France this summer. We were supposed to see part of the Tour de France. We were supposed to see a friend's play in the theater festival in Avignon. And of course, none of that happened. And it was feeling a little stuck, not knowing how to plan a vacation in this environment. And the question sort of crossed my mind, how do you go on vacation when it feels like there's nowhere to go? Which of course wasn't true, but that's how it felt. And so this article was as much for me as everybody else.
I know. I bet you are not the only one who has the kind of situations. Rebecca, you mentioned in your article that several studies say that when we work for extended periods without a break, our productivity or performance begins to decline. Can you elaborate on this a little bit more?
Sure. Well, there's been lots of studies about the decline in productivity. And if you just think about your own experience, staring at a computer for extended periods of time, you feel that your productivity is declining. And as you spend 1 hour more, 1 minute more working on a particular task, being able to ask yourself, is the marginal benefit of continuing to work on this greater than the cost of this time or the cost, frankly, to my health or whatever that might be. And when we are overworked, we have poor concentration and focus. We might be more impulsive. We are likely to have worse decision making, frankly, when we're feeling tired and exhausted. And to take the flip side of it, there's actually been research on elite athletes. So professional athletes, Olympic athletes, looking at what allows them to perform at such peak levels. And it's actually not all of the training that they do, which of course is important and helpful, but it's actually the rest periods that they take that enable them to go full throttle when they need to. And the same is true for us. We are much more focused and renewed and refreshed when we are able to take regular breaks.
I totally agree with this point. Working from home since the pandemic started, for some people is like a very stressful. To me, works very well, for example, if I take regular breaks. Rebecca, like many things in our life, because of the pandemic, we must redefine the way that we take vacations, right? Tell us more about it. What do you think and what is your opinion? Why we should or must redefine the way that we take vacations?
Yeah, so it might be just redefining the vacation for you and your family. You may not be able to go anywhere Certainly, a lot of people aren't flying these days, and we're not really allowed in many other countries. So
Yeah.
our options are more limited, and that
Mhm.
requires us to be creative and a little innovative in how we define that vacation. And so for some people, it might be taking a trip that you can drive to, or for some people, it might be staying home and you're completely unplugged and engaging in creative projects. It's really going to be different for
Mhm.
everybody. And that's
Exactly.
part of, what you need to determine in taking any vacation is for you and your travel companions, what's the experience that you're looking to have?
Yes, it's true. I think be more creative is the right word for me. For example, going to the woods and to take a picture, so do some bird watching is the best activity that I found so relaxing, and honestly it has helped me to recharge. It has helped me a lot. Rebecca, you suggest in your article some guidelines. Let's talk briefly about these guidelines you suggest to help us to re-up the benefit of vacations.
So the first one is to get a change of scenery. That's,
Mhm.
I think, for me, probably the most important thing is just get a change from your day to day.
Mhm.
And even if that's going across town or
Yeah.
to a part of town that you don't usually have the opportunity to go to. So it doesn't have to be that you're going far, but
Mhm.
just to get a change of scenery.
Mhm.
And that might be what helps you feel like you're getting away. I have a colleague who went to a neighboring state with his kids, and he said it wasn't very far. It was a 3 hour drive. And he
Yeah.
said he felt like he was in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And believe me, another good idea, another great idea is picnics. Go to the picnics in the park, helps a lot. Believe me, I did plenty of times also during these times.
Correct. And the example you gave is great around just, having a picnic in the park. That can be a nice escape too. And that's one of the other guidelines, frankly, is to
Mhm.
spend time outdoors. Research
Mhm.
shows that it benefits us mentally and physically to spend time in nature, and with as little as 2 hours a week.
Mhm.
And that can be broken up. It doesn't have to be 1 2 hour outing. It can be 4 half-hour outings or 10 minutes here and 20 minutes there and so on, just over the course of the week. It could be a city park. It could be a national park, but some type
Mhm.
of nature. Could be going on a
Yeah.
hike. Lots of
Yeah.
options there.
Oh yeah, of course. Nature is I think is the best way to take these regular breaks. However, Rebecca, in your guidelines, you suggest one to me is very important: unplug. When we talk about experience, right? When we go to, let's see, to hike or to fishing or just a picnic around the corner, etc. The first thing that probably everybody does is take a picture and share on social. This is to me is very like a challenging. What is your opinion about these specific guidelines? The unplug, don't answer the emails or don't post anything on social for a while. I don't know what is the ways to do. I think it's very personal. But what is your opinion about this specific guideline?
Yes, it is challenging. And for some people, it's fearing missed opportunities while they're gone, sort of FOMO. Other people,
FOMO.
it's fearing the mountain of emails that they're going to face when they get back, or feeling like things will fall apart if they're not checking.
Mhm.
But it's really what helps vacation feel like vacation is unplugging. And as hard as it may be, having a good out of office reply with somebody else that people can contact in your absence
Mhm.
can be really helpful. So, give it a try. If this is something that's really hard for you, then small experiments.
Yep, very interesting and challenging. But there are two more guidelines, right? Would you mind to share what kind of guidelines are these ones?
Well, two other guidelines that I'll mention that can help have
Yeah.
a great vacation experience. One is to
Mhm.
just plan ahead.
Yeah.
And while it may be fun, some people are bigger planners. Other people like the spontaneity of just sort of getting away at the last minute, which can be fun for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
But research has shown that planning at least a month in advance helps people have a better vacation experience, in part, and in particular where they're planning the details, because then you don't have the hassle of bothering with these things or trying to figure it out while you're on vacation. And planning ahead also gives you something to look forward to. And that's a big part of the pleasure of vacation, is having it to look forward to. It gives us more optimism. And, the flip side of the planning ahead is sort of the looking back and creating memories from the vacation. So the pictures you took or videos you took can really help stem depression, anxiety, all those things that may hit you when you get back.
It's true. And in fact, in your article that you wrote for Harvard Business Review, you add a link where the managers encourage to employees take a vacation. It's totally needed. It's very, very interesting part.
Yes.
You want to share something
and a great
about it?
thing, I would say, one, having managers and, companies instituting as a policy that people need to take their vacation time will result in, I think, better morale, better performance, better retention, happier employees, all of that good stuff. And not only that, some companies which are doing something which I think is great, and that is having identified days where the whole company takes off. And so, for example, giving people a long weekend, whether it's a Friday or a Monday or both, because when everybody's off, you're not going to be worried about those emails that are coming in that you're missing.
Exactly. It's a good point. I agree with you. The most important is create two things, memories and experience. Rebecca, I am reading your article right now, and there are two comments that says that how we can think a vacation when people are getting fired. And I think it's a fair comment in these times. What do you think about that?
It's a fair point. I think it in part depends on the level of psychological safety in an organization. As managers and leaders, I think it's one of the best things that you can do is take a vacation to be a good role model for the people on your team. And we're all human. We all need breaks. And it might be a series of short breaks as opposed to going away for 2+ weeks like we may have done in flying to Europe, which we're not doing now. But I think it's for senior leadership to really model this. And everyone's situation is going to be different, again, based on your own sense of job security and psychological safety. But everybody needs a break.
Rebecca, is there anything that you would like to add to this conversation? Please feel free.
Yes, I would say plan your next vacation, even if it's taking just a day off. And even if you're going not very far, say staying in the same town and doing something for yourself on that day, just take a break.
Rebecca, where people can reach you?
People can follow me on Twitter at rszucker, Zucker. They can also go to our website and download a list of our favorite leadership development resources at nextsteppartners.com/list.
Great. All these links will be in the episode, Rebecca. Rebecca, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I am JC Giraldo from Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you so much, everyone.